Here we go. Here's a speech of Dvar Malchut. This is also in Dvar Malchut. This is a speech of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, which he gave on Chamisha Asar of the 15th day of Chamisha Asar of Shvat. The 15th day of Shvat is Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah for the trees. Ask any tree, and they'll tell you this is the Rosh Hashanah. Is Rosh Hashanah. All the trees go to shul. They all pray. They have the chazan, and right. Well, maybe someday it's going to be like that. But the fact of the matter is that what do I got to get rid of this thing here? What's this? 1 minute. 1 minute. Oh, there we go. Huh? No. That's not what I want. 1 second. Okay. Okay. So the 15th day, it says, is the day when all the trees in the world are judged individually. Trees are judged. And if the tree is going to be successful, the tree is going to have fruits. If the tree is any that, it's called the. It's also this is also counting for as far as trumos and maasros go. One is a new year. One is a last year. You have to take fruits from 1 year. You have to give a tithe, so you can't give from 1 year on another year. Etc. One is the new time. So here is the 15th day of Shvat, which is going to be this week, I think, on Thursday, right? Thursday is the 15th day of Shvat. Where is the calendar? There's a calendar. It is, that's right, Thursday. Thursday is the 15th day of Shvat. Tu B'Shvat. So Tu B'Shvat, the whole special thing of the holiday of Tu B'Shvat is that how do we celebrate? How do we celebrate the holiday of Tu B'Shvat? There's really not too much we have to do. And we 1 second, let me make this bigger. Can I make it bigger? We'll see. 1 minute. 1 minute. This is sort of a different setup we have over here. No. Can I make it bigger? I should. Oh, maybe I'll make it bigger. Just 1 second. What did I do? Oh, there we go. Okay. There you go. One of the special things about the 15th day of Shvat, that we don't say Tachnun. That's how we celebrate the 15th day of Shvat. There's people that they bring fruits and they eat the fruits of Israel. Now, here we're talking about it's a judgment day for the fruit trees of Israel, because those are the trees that they bring the first fruits from, etc. So what are the fruits of Israel? They are figs and dates and grapes and olives. They're figs and dates and grapes and olives, pomegranates, and also there's wheat and rye. But those are not so much the fruits. The fruits are those five. Those are. Okay, so this is considered to be the Rosh Hashanah La'elon. It is the Rosh Hashanah, the first day of the year for trees. And it says in a Mishnah, Be'echad b'Shvat Rosh Hashanah La'elon. There's an argument. When is this Rosh Hashanah, the first day of the year for trees, the judgment day for trees? Beit Shammai says that it is not on the 15th. We celebrate it on the 15th because that's the opinion of Beit Hillel. But Beit Shammai says that the first day, the judgment day for trees every year is the first day of Shvat, 15 days earlier. And Beit Hillel says that it's on the 15th day of Shvat. And the law is like Beit Hillel, which is usually the truth. Law is like Beit Hillel. And therefore, Minhag Yisrael, the custom of the Jewish people, is to eat on this day all sorts of fruits. The fruits of Israel, and especially Peros fruits, that are praised in them, the land of Israel. Shabo Mudgash, this is stressed especially the idea of Rosh Hashanah La'elan Ladina. This is especially relevant to the law. The fact is, all trees are judged. All trees are judged. But as far as Jewish law goes, this is relevant to the idea of Meiser, of giving the tithe. You have to give 1/10 of your fruits, of these fruits, these fruits you have to give to the holy temple, and also for first fruits and etc. You have to take. So those are mainly these fruits: grapes, figs, dates, olives, and pomegranates. But yesh, there is the Ba'irinya. Let's explain, what does this mean ba'avodas shel Yisrael? What does that mean to us? Could we know a little bit what it means for the trees, even though we know a little bit. What does it mean for me and you that this is the first Rosh Hashanah of the trees? Kebakol in Yani Torah, like everything which is in the Torah, which the Torah is the expression, the word for hara, teaching. Limud v'hara ba'avodas adam. This is coming to teach us something. What are we supposed to learn from the fact that all the trees are judged on Rosh Hashanah, on the Tu B'Shvat, and especially these 5 fruits? What's the special about these 5 fruits that Israel is blessed by? Ani nivresi, I was created l'shamash eskoni, to serve my Creator. That's the reason that I'm here. Why I'm alive is only to serve my Creator. Lakal Rosh, beginning b'nogea liyom ze'atzmo, this day itself. Va'od be'ikar liyoso Rosh Hashanah, mainly because this 15th day of Shvat is a Rosh Hashanah. It's a New Year's. Islam shicho al ubekol Hashanah kula. Therefore, must have some relationship to the whole year. It's the first day of the year, so it's beginning a year. So it's beginning a year of trees, but it must have some relevance to us, because it's the beginning of a period of time. And that extends from one Rosh Hashanah, from one New Year's day for the trees, from this year to the next year. As Yidvosef, then there is another blessing given to the trees, which is something higher. So, okay, trees are very important, but I mean, is that important? Do we have to talk about it and make a special day for the trees? So the trees get judged. So, I mean, what have I got to do with the trees getting judged? Let the trees take care of getting judged. And so it says, no, I mean, we don't go to synagogue and make a special prayer for the trees or something like that. We don't do. God judges the trees. According to what does he judge the trees? Right? If the trees did a good job last year, did you sway in the wind like you should have swayed? Did you give the shade like you were? Did you deny shade to someone? What are you talking about? Trees don't have any free will. Trees don't. So what does it mean that the trees are judged on that day? So he says it's coming to teach us a lesson about ourselves. That's the point. What happens to the trees? That's between God and the trees. The main point of this, a Rosh Hashanah, a New Year's Day for the trees, this is a lesson for us. The tree which is in us, which is inside. What is this tree inside of us? We'll see. The idea of a tree is connected to the Jewish people. Like it says, Adam. This is mainly the Jewish people, because the Jewish people, Atem Karim Adam. When it says in the Torah, it refers to a Adam ki yamut ba'oel, Adam, a person, is referring to the Jewish people. The Jewish people especially are called man, and we're supposed to educate the whole world what man is, but Jewish people are called man. So it says that a tree is like a man. Adam, Eitzasada. Man is the tree of a field. That's what it says. Really, if you learn and read in the Torah, this sentence, you'll see that really these words are taken out of context. It really means exactly the opposite. It says that if a Jewish army comes and lays siege to a town when they're taking over Israel, or they're defeating our enemies, and we're defeating, it says that you should cut down the trees in order to make battering rams and assault ladders and everything like that. But when you cut down the trees, cut down trees that don't have fruits. Cut down trees that don't have fruits. If you can't, don't cut down trees, because you're there to defeat people. You're not there to defeat trees. So that's what it means. Adam Eitzasada, the trees are man. You're coming to kill men. You're not coming to destroy trees. So it says, Adam Eitzasada is the tree, a man. That's what, but it's taken out of context. The Midrash has the ability to do this because God tells these people that this is the interpretation to make. So it comes out, there's a sentence in the Torah that says, Ki Adam eitz hasada, man is the tree of the field. Man is the tree of the field. Ubefrat, and especially Elonos, especially the trees of the land of Israel, Ubeneim, Gufa, and especially among them, the trees that the land of Israel is blessed by. That these trees are especially trees that give praise to the land of Israel. This comes from the fact that they are first, they are in Israel. I mean, there's fig trees all over the world. Grapes and olives, now what of course there is all over the world. But there's some special connection between the land of Israel and these trees. That the land of Israel is especially praised by these fruit trees, grapes and figs and olives and pomegranates and dates. Even more. Alpia Yadu, according to the Jewish people, are called Eretz. The Jewish people are also called land. What are the Jewish people called land? Kiti yu atem eretz chayfetz, like it says, you will be a desirous land. It's a sentence in Malachi, prophet Malachi. You will be a desirous land, the Jewish people. Not talking about the land of Israel. You will be it explains in Yom Yom. Remember, we learned that just like the earth contains in it all these hidden treasures and riches and gems and things like that, and water and oil, as the Jewish people also contain in themselves hidden treasures of benefit and blessing to the world. Like the rabbis say, Lama Nikra Shemo Eretz. Why is the land? Another reason. Why is the land called Israel? Why is it called Eretz Israel? Right, the land of Israel. Interesting. You look in the other countries, they don't call it the land of America or the land of England or the land of Russia or the land of France. Well, the land of Israel. Why is it called Eretz Israel? Why? Because the word Eretz also means that it desires. That it desires to do the will of God. That's the land of Israel. You come to the land of Israel, you feel different. You're supposed to. It wants, the land of Israel is conducive to wanting to do what God wants you to do. You come to the land of Israel, you feel something's happening, something's going on. It's a holy land. It also comes from the language of being pleased, being satisfied. This is the land of Israel, which is called the desirous land. The Israel, the desirous land. I mean, just in simply, Israel is always in the news, right? How many Jews live in the land of Israel? How many Jews are there? How many Jews are there at all in the world? How many of them live in Israel? 10 million, 7 million. I don't know how many live. I didn't look at the last, census. 10 million Jews live in Israel. That's the whole thing you know how many people are in the world, right? There's like 8 billion, 9 billion people in the world. And Israel is always in the news. How big is Israel? How big the country is? It's very small, right? And all the Arabs, they have all these countries, massive places of land, unlimited amounts of land. They have in Saudi Arabia and in Iran and Iraq and all these places, a land that you could take all of the Arabs from all of the Arab countries and put them in pick any Arab country you want. You could concentrate them all, and there would be a lot of room. No, not good enough. They have to have Israel. Israel has to be, and everybody's telling Israel what to do. They should do this, they should do that. And the Israelis themselves, they're saying they're confused as everybody else. But the fact of the matter is, little by little, it's starting to come out that the world is wrong. The world hates us. The world is against them. Why? What's the big deal? Why do they have to hate us? What do we do? Right? What do we do? We're just, living in this little country of our own. Why don't people hate people from Iceland or people from who knows other places? Everybody evicted somebody. No, Israel. Israel, the very land of Israel, is a desirous land, and we see everybody desires it. Everybody wants it. But mainly, and like I've said so many times, to give the land of Israel to anybody else except for the Jews is like giving a piano to a cow. What's a cow going to do with a piano? The same thing. No one else in the world has any conception of what is holy. And only with great difficulty do the Jewish people have any idea what it means. And so, every single Jew, and let's get back to positive things. The Jewish people, they are called the land. They are called Eretz Chayfetz. The Jewish people are called a desirous land. Tiumi Eretz Chayfetz. The Jewish people are called a desirous land. And the land of Israel is also called desirous land. That every single Jew wants to do all the commandments. Ratzon, from the language of Ratzon. That's why the Jews are called a desirous land, because the Jews desire to do the Creator's will. That's the idea of the land of Israel. The land of Israel points to the fact and the feeling that there is a Creator, and the Creator gave the Torah. That's the land of Israel. And that's, I think, one of the main reasons that all these other countries want Israel, because they don't want any evidence whatsoever that there's a Creator that gave the Torah, and that the Torah is true and every word is true, and that this physical world is the main place. Physical. And they don't want that evidence. They're talking about going to heaven, and they think that their religions are right or their ideas are right, right? And they know that deep down that they're wrong. But if they could only conquer the land of Israel, maybe that's a sign that they're right. Maybe it's a sign from heaven that they're okay. It's not going to work. I mean, this course is not going to work. But meanwhile, the land of Israel, the very land of Israel, is holy, and the Jewish people are holy, and it's called the Eretz Chayfetz. It's called desire. What does it mean, desire? Because they desire to do all the commandments, on until Sherutz, that it runs, and Bezrizus Hachigadol, with the greatest alacrity to the commandments. So we have Eretz means, here we have, I think, four things. Eretz means a land. Eretz means to want something, Rutz. Eretz means to be pleased, Ratzui. And Eretz means to run, to do something. That's the whole idea of Eretz Yisrael. When we say moving, so now it's kind of understood that all the details which are found in the land, physical land of Israel, first of all, they are found in the Jewish people. In accordance with this, let's see if I can make this bigger a little bit. 200%. In accordance with this, we can explain the token and what is this idea of the 7 different types that the land of Israel is praised by. I only talked about the fruits, but there's also wheat and barley. Those are 2 more. So here's the sentence. There's a sentence in the Torah. It says, Eretz, the land of Israel, is a land, chita v'seora, of wheat and barley, geffen, grapes, ta'ena, figs, rimon, pomegranates. And then again, it says, Eretz, the land, zayit, zayit shemen, olives, and dvash, and what's it called? The dates. Dvash means dates. Dates makes, there's date honey. Dvash. There's, like it's known, that these 7 different fruits, if you want to call it, the land of Israel, if you call barley and wheat the fruits, they correspond to the 7 emotions of our personality, and the 7 emotions of God, and the 7 staffs of the menorah, the candelabra. Shekai al Knesset Israel, all these things refer to the Jewish people. Shenechlaka, that the Jewish people are divided, the Shiva Sugim, to 7 different types, 7 ways of serving God. Shekol Prati and that each one of these details of the 7 different fruits, Yeshnam exist b'kol echad ve'echad, in each and every Jew, men, women, and children. Even though Rosh Hashanah le'elan, even though that the New Year's Day of trees, Shayach Rach l'chamisha miyam, is only really relevant to 5 of them, namely all the fruits that I talk about, not wheat and barley. Beta, meaning the 2 types, that other types, wheat and barley, what it says, beta meaning the eretz habeit, and the 2 types which is in the eretz habeit. Look, how does the sentence go? It goes like this. Here, look, it goes. The sentence. Oh, here's the sentence. The sentence goes like this. It starts off the land of, and it lists fruits, and then before the last 2, it says again the land of. So let me just translate it. The land of Israel is a land of. This sentence is found in, where is it? In book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8, sentence 8. Deuteronomy sentence 8. That's the sentence. What does the sentence say? It says, it's a land of wheat and barley, grapes, figs, and pomegranates. That's not the end of the sentence. A land, it says again the word land. A land of olives and dates. So the sentence just read fluently goes, land of Israel is a land of wheat, barley, grapes, figs, pomegranates. A land of olives and dates. 2 times it says eretz. Okay, so when we're talking about the land of Israel being praised by the fruits, so these 7 different types of fruits that come from the land of Israel, these 7 types of fruits, that refers to the 7 emotions. Wow, that corresponds to the 7 emotions of man. 7, and these can be also divided into different ways. The first 2, which we had, which was wheat and barley, those aren't really fruits, so to speak, that we're talking about. And then there's also the fruits themselves. The remaining 5 are divided into 2 levels. There's the 3 fruits that come before the word, before the second eretz schita gefen utena rimon. That's the first 3. And then there's the word eretz, and there's 2 more, olives and dates. It says, so it says the first 2, which is Echita v'Saora and Geffen. I'm sorry, with this. Oh. So there's the first 2, which is the eretz, after the word of eretz, which are the wheat and barley. And then there's the last 2, which are eretz, zait, shemen, and davash. That's also different. So the first 2 are not really fruits. That's wheat and barley. And the last 2 are separated by this word eretz that comes before them. Figs and olives and dates. They're also different. So if so, let's concentrate on the 3 middle ones. 3 types of eretz. There's eretz chitasor, gefen, v'te'ena marimon. Let's say that those are the main ones. Those are the first ones that were mentioned in this sentence, which are grapes, figs, and pomegranates, which is not the case wheat and barley, that they're not really trees. And also their judgment day is not in the 15th day of Shvat, but this is in the first day of Tishrei, which is also, it's called so they're not judged together with all the others. So these first 2 are not really trees. Okay. Nevertheless, because the sentence, it begins and it says, Chita v'Saora, it begins and it says wheat and barley, and it says that even before grapes and figs and pomegranates, and also the other 2, olives and dates. And everything that's earlier in the sentence is before in the blessing. So therefore, we should first of all learn about what to learn from them. Okay, so what's the Rebbe saying? There are 7 different types of fruits, so to speak, that are mentioned in the sentence, and they correspond to the 7 emotions of the Jews and of all humanity, and that corresponds to 7 different ways of serving God. So let's see. First of all, let's learn about the wheat and the barley. But 1 second, before wheat and barley, there's the word eretz. There's the word land. So that's the beginning of the sentence, the word land, eretz. And even more, eretz is land is before everything, because everything grows up from it. Haim tavua, everything grows up, whether we're talking about the wheat and grains, whether we're talking about the fruits, and etc. And the av mikodem tzmicha, that before everything grows up, there is also before the trees grow up in the garden, which is above a field in a regular land. So land can be divided up into many ways. Fertile land. There can be a field where you grow up wheat and barley. And then there can be a garden where you grow up trees. Hare, behold, Gama Gan, also a garden, is also the main thing is part of the land. Okay, ready? Let's go. So let's discuss first of all the first word in the sentence, eretz, land. What is land? What is land? We talked about it a little bit before, that eretz means desire and will and running and pleasing. And the Rebbe there's a more of a message to be learned. Eretz, land, it says, Amotzi lechem min haaretz. We make a blessing before we eat bread, and we say, God, you bring bread from the earth. God, you bring bread from the earth. Now, the fact is, bread does not come from the earth. Wheat comes from the earth, and bread comes from a factory. You grind it up. What does it mean God brings bread? So in this case, bread refers to all food. She'll call all types of food, even the fruit trees, all bread, all food of man comes from the ground. After the work, man works on the ground, he plows, he plants, but it all begins from plowing and planting. In the language of the Mishnah, Hazoreya v'hachoresh be'eretz Yisrael kai. There are what's called the things which are forbidden to do on Shabbat, and a lot of them which are forbidden are learned from the fact that they made bread in the Holy Temple. There was the bread offerings. To make bread, you have to plow in the land, and you have to plant, and you have to winnow, and you have to do this. These are talking about works on the ground that are done in the land of Israel. The zoreah that you plant in the land. Oh, you have to go like this. First of all, you plant, and afterwards you harvest. It says, "Kasha hi ve'ein yochol lechasot below charisha." I'm sorry. One minute. I'm sorry. It says it is first of all, they plant, and then afterwards they plow, they cover over. Shekasha, the land of Israel, it says the ground is hard. You're not able to cover over the plants unless you plow again. You have to soften up the ground to plow the land again, to make the ground soften up to cover over the seeds. In addition, kravi means to plow. In addition to the plowing that you have to do before you plant the seeds, like every place, but also in the land of Israel, you have to plow afterwards also, in order to soften up ground, that you'll have enough ground to cover over the seeds with. Similarly, all of the works, Sidura Dapat, which are forbidden on Shabbat, because they learn from making bread, it's talking about making bread in the land of Israel. But similarly, we can learn this from serving God. How can we serve God? It says that every man is a land of Israel. How do you serve God? First of all, in serving God, you have to plow. First of all, you have to plow. A person on his own seems to be whole, complete. I don't need anything. I'm okay the way I am. First of all, a person has to plow. What does it mean? You have to break your heart a little bit. You have to say, maybe I'm not 100% okay. Maybe I have to fix myself up. Like King David said, Leiv nishbar v'nitkeh Elokim lo sivzeh. One of the things about land is that if you want it to be fertile, you have to plow. And by means of this, you can plant. Same thing with a person. If he wants to be fertile, if he wants to have a connection to the Creator and do what he's created for to change the world to be positive, is you have to plow. What does it mean, plow? You have to make a little bit of a breaking in your heart, in your ego. And we can add on, Benogea, Lenyan Harisha, plowing in the service of man. I'll be like what the Baal Shem Tov says in the sentence, Ki atem to you, Eretz Chayfetz, that you will be for me a desirous land, was sentence we just brought up over there. B'nai Yisrael, that the Jewish people are compared to a land that we saw this from Yom Yom. It's just like in the ground. There are all these precious stones and diamonds, but you have to search for them. You have to dig, and you have to dig and redig, plow and look how they dig for gold, and since it's found in only special places in the land, and there's a necessary. Sometimes you have to dig very deeply, because the majority of places, these diamonds and emeralds or whatever are not on the face of the ground, but they're in the depths. This is similar to Charisha. This is like plowing. You have to make a big effort. And that's the whole thing of the Jewish people are called ground. Yes, it's true, we're desirous, but you have to work. And that's we're going to learn from this Rosh Hashanah, this New Year's Day of trees. That we're talking about the trees of the land of Israel. The land of Israel, just like every other land, before you put seed in it, you have to plow. The same thing, the Jewish people are called a land, and they have to, they can be fertile, as you have to plow. You have to break yourself a little bit. This is included in the land of Eretz, everything which are made b'yeridas and neshama lamata. The soul comes into the physical world. It's like planting. And planting requires she'em kol olam ates malachos. The Jewish people are planted in the world in order to fix up the world. And that's in general the whole idea of the 6 days of the week, where you do these 32 things that are forbidden to do on Shabbos. You work. These 39 things which are done in the week, those are 39 different types of work which were necessary to build the tabernacle. That's the work. But on Shabbat, they did not build the tabernacle. As important as it was, they didn't build it, because Shabbat, you have to remind yourself that why are we building this tabernacle? It's the tabernacle because God commanded, and God is the boss, and we want God to be revealed. Don't think that it's our building. It's God's building. That's the idea of Shabbat. And on Shabbat, you don't do these works, but on the weekdays, you do these works. So that's the idea of the land, that we're Jewish people are called a land, because you have to work on them. A Zoreah, a Choresh, it says, the 39, 40 missing one. Why does it say 40 missing one? That's the language. How many things are forbidden on Shabbat and necessary on the 6 days of the week? 40 minus 1. That's the language of the Mishnah. 40 minus 1. Why doesn't it just say 39? Because working on the ground means working on yourself. It requires 39 different types of work you have to do on yourself. 40 minus 1. Where did you get that from? I mean, 39. It says 39. Why 40 minus 1? It says, why does it say 40 minus 1? Why doesn't it just say 39? Is like what it says, it says that God created man, and he made him lacking a little bit from God. Man thinks that he's God, but still man is always going to be missing a little bit something from God. This is even talking about Moses. the choice highest of people, like the rabbis say, there's 50 gates of understanding were created in the world. All of them were given to Moses except for one. Like it says, that he is missing a little bit from being godliness. It's a sentence in Psalms. That in addition to the fact that is only man is only missing just a little bit, which makes him that he's not God. Chasar achas, he's only missing one. Harigam chisron zeh, but this is also a special thing that God did purposely. He made us missing a little bit. Lifnei pu'ula zu, before this, lo yachisron, that before God removed this little bit of certainty that we have on ourselves, he removed it. Nothing was missing, because every single Jew is really, the fact is, every Jew is really, like it says, a son of God. Even more, they are God themselves. Like it says, Ani amarti Elokim atem. Like it says, I said that you are gods. All the Jewish people can be called God. It's a psalm in Psalm 82. Shem Elokim, that the name Elokim, I'm sorry, I skipped the line. Oh, Elokim, like it says, Ani amarti Elokim. The Yeterim even more, since that it says that Hashemesh v'mogin Hashem Elokim, that God is the sun and the sheath over the sun, and that's the two names. God is called the sun in the sky, right? The illuminator. That's the name Yud Kei Vav Kei, and the name Elokim is how God conceals over that. Sheshem Elokim, the name Elokim, this hides over the name Yud Kei Vav Kei. So it comes out that every single Jew also is not just an aspect of God, comes from the essence of God, Havaya. Like it says, Ki chelik Hashem amo. A part of God is his people. So here we're saying the Jewish people are not just sons of God, but they are God himself. They're part of the God and the essence of God. But God, when B'Yerida Salamata, when God put the Jewish people in the world, into the land, as he made them lacking something on purpose. And this lack, when the soul comes down into the world to deal with all of the different things in the world, to improve the world, that's what's called the 40 minus 1. Why is the Jew in the world to do these different acts and to do these different jobs and works? Is l'tzorech aliyah, for elevation. You do, like it's known, the general principle that any time that there's a descent, it's always for the sake of an elevation. L'mayman u'matzav, something that's higher, which will come afterwards. V'nishla macheser achas, then there will be completed this missing that God made, this lack that God caused by putting the soul into the world, ad shenase yitron gadol yoter, until being in the world will be even higher than the soul was before it was in the world, and it had all these 40 aspects to it. God put the soul into the world, took away one, so that we're now lacking one, 40 minus 1. The Rebbe didn't explain what the 40 is. But by means of that, it becomes something higher even than the 40 than it was before. That the soul comes to a higher level in this world than the level of Elokimata, than being, like I said before, that you are God, even above the name of Yud Kei Vav Kei, even above the name of God's essence. How does this make any sense? It doesn't make any sense, but it's the fact. And so what is the Rebbe talking about? He's talking about the land, Eretz, and these fruits which grow from the land. But first of all, says the Rebbe, let's discuss how these fruits are relevant to us and our soul. But before we discuss that, let's discuss something else. What is the land? Everything grows up from the land. And the Rebbe said one thing about the land is that it requires work, that you have to plow on the land, you have to work on the land. And now the Rebbe is talking about the different types of work we have to do, beginning with breaking our ego a little bit. That's what it says, that we are lacking a little bit from being godliness. But when we do this, we'll reveal a higher level of godliness than the soul was even before it was put into the world, as we'll talk about more, God willing, tomorrow.